Blue and Silver Nation, it's time for another hot update on our beloved Detroit Lions. And if you're just arriving, click the subscribe button now, because here you won't miss anything about the team. Today's video will leave even the oldest fans speechless, and that's a good sign to give it a like. Let's go. We've reached that point in the NFL offseason where speculation reigns. Training hasn't really started yet, but debates are raging about how each franchise can take the next step towards the Super Bowl. It's precisely in this atmosphere of uncertainty and projections that the Bleacher Report website released a detailed analysis of each team's biggest needs and who would be the most valuable pieces to make possible trades. In the case of the Detroit Lions, a team on the rise, the article pointed out that the biggest hole is still at the pass rusher position, with a flea in the back of its mind about how long Aiden Hutchinson will be able to maintain his dominant level. But what really caught the eye were the names that were mentioned as potential trade chips. 3 young players who many would believe are pillars of Detroit's future. And the most intriguing part? None of them are veterans, but rather emerging talents that few would have imagined outside of the team. The first name on the list, Jameson Williams. You've probably heard this one in rumors, and where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Even after the Lions activated his 5th-year option, guaranteeing him to stay at least through the end of 2025, the wide receiver continues to be seen by many as a potential trade asset. Williams had a rocky start to his career with injuries and a suspension, but after completing the 2024 season healthy, he finally showed why he was a first-round pick. He surpassed the 1,000-yard mark and showed clear signs of being ready to be a WR1. But then comes the financial issue. According to SpotRack, his market value is around $20 million per season, enough to put him among the 20 highest paid receivers in the league. With such a high-priced renewal on the horizon, the front office may be tempted to capitalize on his current market value. While a trade before or during the 2025 season still seems unlikely, Jamo's name will continue to be in the conversation behind the scenes. The second name Bleacher Report is targeting is Levi Onwuzurike. This one was a surprise. A 2nd-round pick in the 2021 draft, Levi has been a versatile piece on the defensive line, alternating between inside and outside positions. He was expected to leave the Lions in free agency, but he ended up re-signing for a 1-year, $5.5 million contract. This decision shows that the franchise still sees value in him, especially after a solid 2024 season where he took advantage of several injuries on defense to stand out. According to PFF, Onwuzurike was rated the 33rd best interior defensive lineman out of 219 players evaluated. That is, he is in the top 15% of the league. Even with those good numbers, the fact that his contract expires at the end of 2025 makes him a valuable piece for both the Lions and other teams looking to add defensive backs. Still, since he could be more useful on the field than in a trade, it is hard to say he will leave unless an offer comes in that is impossible to refuse. Closing the list, perhaps the most curious name, Malcolm Rodriguez. Drafted in the 6th round in 2022, Rodriguez became a fan favorite after his appearances on HBO's reality show Hard Knocks, and for his dedication as a linebacker and special team specialist. He started as a gamble and has transformed into a reliable part of the defensive rotation. In 2024, he was forced into a bigger role after Alex Anzalone's injury and was playing at a high level until he suffered a torn ACL. Still recovering, he will likely miss a few weeks at the start of the season. Even so, PFF ranked him as the 9th best linebacker against a run out of 189 players. A remarkable feat for a former 6th-round pick. But there's a big hurdle here. He's entering the final year of his rookie contract, still coming off a serious injury. Trading for a rotational linebacker who's injured and on a short contract isn't the kind of deal that appeals to other franchises. That's why it looks like Rodriguez will stay in Detroit with a healthy return expected in October. Ultimately, what this Bleacher Report tells us is that even on a young and growing franchise like the Lions, no one is 100% safe. Success comes at a price, and sometimes maintaining a competitive roster means giving up promising talent to fill more pressing needs. Fans may frown upon this, but that's the harsh reality of the NFL. Stay tuned. Because if 2024 is as intense as it looks, 2025 promises to shake up the Lions roster. As the NFL turns its attention to off-season moves, the Detroit Lions are emerging as one of the most intriguing teams at the moment. Despite a solid signing window and a roster that inspires confidence, there is still a glaring gap that cannot be ignored. Quarterback pressure. Aidan Hutchinson, the Lions' rising defensive star, remains the main name in the front seven. But the absence of a strong partner on the other side of the line is something that raises questions. The franchise has invested in retaining pieces but has done little, if anything, to complement Hutchinson's talent with another impactful edge rusher. And that's where a possibility that is gaining traction behind the scenes around the league comes in. Cameron Jordan, a veteran icon of the New Orleans Saints, could be the perfect piece for Detroit to take the next step. Jordan, who built a legendary career with the Saints, is being mentioned in trade rumors after years of dedication to New Orleans. Bleacher Report journalist Brent Sobleski raised a scenario that could make a lot of sense for the Lions. Acquiring Jordan for an affordable price, a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick in the 2026 draft. A symbolic value considering the immediate impact he could bring. Jordan is still productive. Since 2021, he has an impressive 27 sacks and more than 200 tackles, even at 35 years old. In addition, there's an emotional connection that cannot be ignored. Dan Campbell, the current head coach of the Lions, knows Jordan personally from his time on the Saints coaching staff. This human factor could be the difference between a rumor and a concrete reality. If we weigh everything up, the Saints situation also reinforces the viability of this trade. With Derek Carr's unexpected retirement, the New Orleans team seems destined for a rebuild, or worse, competitive limbo. Jordan has already made it clear that he wants to stay with the Saints, but he has also revealed his desire to win before calling it a day. And winning in the NFL's current moment seems much more possible in Detroit than in Louisiana. The Lions are clearly on the rise, with a young core, a motivated coach, and a reliable quarterback. If there's ever a time to invest in an experienced name who could be decisive in January, it's now. Jordan could be that difference maker, the guy who shows up in big games, commands respect in the trenches, and provides leadership in the locker room. From the Lions' point of view, the move makes even more sense when we consider the financial factor. With a hefty contract on the way for Aidan Hutchinson, Detroit should avoid making long or expensive commitments to new names. Jordan, on the other hand, represents a short-term solution with high impact and an affordable cost. He wouldn't come to be the main star. That role is already Hutchinson's, but rather to complete the defensive puzzle and take the unit to a new level. The technical fit is obvious, but the human and strategic factors make this a real and even desirable possibility. It's not just about filling a vacancy, it's about adding a name that brings experience, and a hunger for victory. That's exactly what the Lions need to dream big in 2025. Now, all that's left to do is know if Brad Holmes will pull the trigger. The trade market this year is lacking in truly impactful names, especially at edge rusher. Trey Hendrickson would be a distant dream, practically unrealistic. Other than that, Jordan stands out as the most interesting and accessible name. The opportunity is there. Detroit has draft pieces to offer. It has a coach with a history with the player. And most of all, it has a team ready to compete. If the Lions want to show that they're ready to go toe-to-toe with the NFL giants, bringing in Cameron Jordan could be the next smart move. It's a rare chance to combine talent, experience, and perfect timing in a single package. And if there's one team that can make that move look like a genius a few months from now, it's the Detroit Lions. Comment below what you think. Your opinion is always very important and helps to further enrich this conversation between fans. And of course, if you enjoyed this content and want to continue following everything about our Detroit Lions, like the video. This really strengthens the channel and helps to spread our community even further. See you soon.